What's going on, family? Welcome back to his Rocks Movie Reviews. And today we're going to be discussing Justice League 2017. This movie was a movie where I highly anticipated this film. I was one of the first ones in the theater when this came out. Although I knew it had its production problems, I knew that it had its issues. Zack Snyder directed this film. Zack Snyder didn't get to finish this film. Through midway, him directing this film, his daughter passed. So obviously, when you lose a loved one, they pass. Obviously, you want to take some time off, and he did just that. But Warner Brothers was so in a rush to finish this movie, they couldn't wait for him. So instead, they went and hired Joss Whedon to finish the film. And you can tell Joss Whedon sprinkled his own genius on this movie, and in my point of view, fucked it up. Fucked up a movie that could have been epic. Overall, this movie wasn't a bad film, but you can tell the split. You could tell when Zack Snyder stopped directing and when Joss Whedon took over. It's two different films. And this movie doesn't quite do justice to the Justice League. It's a better anticipated film than it actually came out to be. And it was sad because this movie was a combination of getting 6 superheroes together, which was Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Cyborg, and The Flash. And right there, that should have made you just those 6 characters in one movie. It should have been outstanding. It should have been an Avengers type movie. And instead, we got what we got. So let's just get straight into it, right? Having been underwhelmed by the waste of the great potential that was BVS, Dawn of Justice, not terrible, but it was lackluster, and seeing that critical reception was not particularly good for that film. Expectations for this movie weren't that high either. Although it had its major problems, like I was saying before, Justice League turned out to be better than expected. Contrary to the constant critic bashing, which, to be perfectly honest, has gotten out of control and extremely annoying fast, when this movie first came out. To be perfectly honest, I'm happy that Zack Snyder's version came out recently on HBO Max, and it definitely fixed that overall movie. But the movie that Zack Snyder eventually finished, I don't think we were able to get that version in the movies. It was a little too long, so I'm happy we did get to finish it. Especially with the fans. The fans made that happen. And even when my opinions differ to theirs in this film, which has happened a fair number of times, their appraisals and criticisms are very understandable. And it's easy to see where they're coming from, because I was fairly disappointed with the film. Justice League is a case of the filming being much better than anticipated, considering the word of mouth and Batman vs. Superman being such a disappointing film, and people ask themselves, is Justice League a better film? And in my point of view, no. I prefer BVS, but many would say yes, quite a bit, to this film. Justice League definitely has a lot of problems, although the CGI is pretty good on the whole movie. There's an over-reliance of it, and it doesn't always add to some of the scenes. The story has its fun and excitingly compelling moments, but a lot of it does feel rushed, which does see too many abrupt tonal and storytelling shifts, and that has to do with the direction of both directors. And some of the first half has a cobbled together and rambling quality, and usually not want to carp about plot holes, but much of the time you can tell it's forced, it's lazy. The criticism to me is that some of the scenes in this movie are just borderline ridiculous, even for a superhero film. The rushed pacing does come at the expense of character development, which tends to be rather flimsy. Particularly true to this villain, there is nothing menacing or remotely interesting about him. He's basically a very dull, there sort of character. Syrian Hines is he's completely wasted as the villain in this movie for such a great actor. While Ray Fisher is somewhat dull in this film is also, and I don't believe that was totally his fault. I think Josh Whedon stepping in and changing so much of the movie really probably fucked up his thought process and his thoughts on how he was going to portray this character, especially his character being majority of the time CGI. Not all the jokes work. Some feel out of place. While the final battle could have been more exciting, could have been filled with more excitement. And Danny Elfman's music score is uninspired in this film. It's very unforgettable. But on the other hand, most of the acting, believe it or not, is very good. Ben Affleck brings a brooding intensity like he did in BVS to his Batman, and he didn't seem to bore me at all. Other bright spots in the cast are Jeremy Irons, who's very amusing as Alfred. Amy Adams is feisty, is somewhat underused again as Lois Lane in this one. Jason Momoa's beautifully judged Aquaman is very unique in this film. I like what they did with the character leading into his film. And Gal Gadot, man, she's so positive in this film. You know, she's the show-stopping Wonder Woman that we expected. She's amazing in that role. She definitely knocks it out the park. Not only sexy and charming, she's just everything. Love the way she uses her lasso, and her powers in this film are ridiculous. Ezra Miller coming in as the Flash was very amusing. You know, some of his jokes did not land in some parts, but overall, he was a delight on that screen. You know, at times he was slightly a little too introverted as Flash, but overall, pretty good. Henry Cavill looks more comfortable. Henry Cavill, I'm sorry, looks more comfortable in his role as Superman than he did in BVS. Diane Lane and J.K. Simmons are also welcome presences who didn't get a lot of screen time, but in the screen time that they're in, they're amazing. Especially there's a scene where Amy Adams and her have a nice connection, in which, you know, gives you pleasure to see that on screen. This movie visually, cinematography, the cinematography in this film with the visuals are beautifully shot. You can tell Zack Snyder, before leaving the project, definitely put his stamp. Only he, and he alone, can put the picture like that on a screen. It's far more cohesively edited, and its boldly dark and gritty looks feels very within the story until it doesn't anymore, thanks to Josh Whedon. The script is less clunky and dreary and lightened by some nice quirky humor and some jokes that were amusing thanks to the Flash. In this movie, Ezra Miller really was the comic relief, and they do give Batman, believe it or not, slightly comedic remarks that you're like, wait a minute, Batman has jokes? And especially the absolute hoot that involves the magic lasso, man. There's a scene where, you know, she puts it around Aquaman without him even knowing, and he spits out some things that you could tell everybody else is thinking. And I liked that aspect to that scene. It definitely brought the comedic aspect up to par. The action is mostly nicely choreographed and fun to watch. Some of the characters are interesting, and the chemistry between all six of them, believe it or not, is great. If I was to give this movie a rating, which I know you guys are here for, I'll definitely give this movie a solid 7.5 out of 10. I'm not going to do a review on Zack Snyder's because I feel like it's basically a very similar movie, although very different. In that movie, they explain a lot that was missing in this one. But overall, this is a 7 out of 10. I think Zack Snyder's will be very close to a 10. So that's basically the difference between the two movies. And I hope you don't go watch it, though. Go watch it if you're a Batman fan. Watch it if you're a Superman fan. If you're a DC fan in general, give this movie a try and let me know what you think. Let me know on the Discord. Until then, if you like this video, hit that like button. Hit that notification bell. And if you want more content from me, all you have to do is subscribe. Thank you for watching. To the next one. Peace.